What's up, prototypes? This is Yuri, aka Russian Prototype. It's Monday, August 16th. It's another great edition of a live show. Let's just call it what it is. It's becoming a show. It's no longer just a live stream because we have live guests, we have live conversations, we have a lot going on. Today has been a crazy day so far. I went to this quick medical appointment. Nothing to be worried about it, but and it took so long that I had to pretty much run to my house and do my testing. Testing meaning like when I go with someone live, I actually test the connection, test the platform first, make sure that they have that it works for us, that I can hear them, I can see them, all of those type of things. So normally I do it from my laptop. Today I had to do it from my phone. So I literally came back home 15 minutes ago. I don't have any notes whatsoever on today's topic. Today's topic is going to be all from here, from the top, as they say. Today is going to be conversation based on what the live guest is going to share with me. So it's going to be fun. We'll see. Maybe I'm just going to crash and burn. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But one thing for sure, we're still going to have a conversation. So far, I have 3 live guests lined up. It's going to be very exciting. The topic of today's conversation is polar opposite of what we talked about yesterday. And which was, yesterday we talked about why do men cheat? And today we're going to talk about why do women cheat? Huge topic. It can go any way possible. I have no idea what's going to happen today. I have no idea what my guests are going to share with everyone and what their experiences are like. So I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what's going to happen. What can I say on this topic before we get started? Quite honestly, both genders have faults, and that's just one of them. Sometimes, Felicia talked about opportunity yesterday, and sometimes when people see opportunity, they take it. Women will do it and men will do it. So we're all guilty in a way. We're all guilty of it. But I'm so excited and I'm so interested to hear it from a woman's perspective. And I'm hoping that maybe we can shed some light on why women cheat from a woman's perspective. Because I can only guess. I can only guess what's going on in women's head, So I'm excited to hear from women and to see what's going on. Let's see who is here right now. We have Heather in the house. Thanks for joining. We have the Blonde 1990. Hello, thank you for being here. We have Felicia in the house. Hello, Felicia. We have Jamie in the house. Thank you for joining tonight's show. Remember that I can only see you if you comment. If you don't put the comment down, I have no idea who you are. You could be a ghost watcher for all I know. Let's see. Well, I've been cheated on, and the experience of being cheated on is never a pleasant one. What ends up happening in the one case that I can remember very vividly in my mind is that women, or I should say that particular woman, he ended up regretting it and kind of tried to take the relationship back. She tried to have a conversation later on, and she tried to say, I'm sorry, let's start over. But, at that point, gates are closed. You don't really get reduced. Not with this guy. Not at that time. But it was interesting to see how a person can think that that mistake could be reversed. And I'm sure she was sorry about this. I'm sure she regretted it. And she even wrote me a card, like apologizing. I only remember one thing from the card because it was so long ago. It was something about this not being a perfect world. Yeah, like it's not a perfect world. That's for sure. But for a while, I had you have a kind of a bitter taste in your mouth, if you will, after some of these experiences. Even though a person apologizes, even though a person seems to be sorry, it's just not the same, It's just not the same. You kind of want to get away from that person, because associations that you have with that person are different now. You don't associate like love, affection, all the positive emotions anymore. You associate cheating with that person. It's unfortunate, but that's how it felt at the time. That's how it felt. My first guest, if you are here, feel free to join so I can bring you on. We can go ahead and get started. So if you are watching or if you are waiting, please go ahead and join. Looks like we have Strong Ballerina in the house as well. Hello. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Heather said, how did I find out? Actually, I was telling the story yesterday, partially, of an old friend who was trying to warn me when we were talking about why do men cheat. I was telling the story of my good friend, and that was like 18 years ago, long time ago. And he was the one who tried to warn me. He was the one who's trying to warn me because he saw that woman hanging out with another guy. And I didn't even believe him, because I thought my girlfriend at the time was an angel. I thought that she would never do something like that, I just couldn't even comprehend that. I didn't even think it was possible for her to do that. And so I found out later he might have told me that on a couple of occasions. So it might have been more than one time that he actually mentioned it to me. The first time I think I kind of like let it over my head and not paying attention to it at all. But then the second time, when it happened, I can't remember exactly how she got confronted. I can't remember exactly if she came clean herself or if my friend had anything to do with that. I just remember like the aftermath of this entire situation, that she admitted it, she apologized, she wrote a card, and that was it. That was it. Not a good feeling, let me tell you. Not a good feeling. Hello, Kristen. How are you today? Appreciate you being here. If any of you are interested in being a live guest, give me a hashtag live guest. Feel free to send me, shoot me a message on Instagram, direct message, and I will send you a link so you can join the live stream to be a live guest. We'll just have to figure out the time. It would be good to go. I'm excited about today's live guest. I hope my first live guest is ready. I'm going to give a couple more minutes for her to join. Let's see what Jamie said over here. It is such a deep wound when people cheat. I could never go back to someone who did that. Yeah, I think many people will feel differently about that. I think for some people, the act of cheating, the physical act of it, is unforgiving. You know, once it happened, people just shut down. They don't want to. They act like you don't exist for them anymore. You know, so that's one group of people. But I feel like there's another group of people that is okay with, not okay, but who can forgive the physical betrayal, but who cannot forgive the emotional betrayal. Um, and I think both are very difficult. I think both are very difficult, but I think physical betrayal is, it's just so, it's just so, I don't know how to even describe it. It's so open. It's just like so, um, what is the word? What is the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word. I was gonna say rare. It's not rare. Raw. Maybe that's the word. Raw. It's just like, here it is. I did it. Um, I couldn't fight my temptation to do this with another person, and that's not easy to get over. That is very difficult to get over. Um, I imagine it's even more difficult to get over the longer you've been with another person, because the longer you've been another person, you develop a stronger bond. It's no longer just about, a physical connection, because I think in the beginning of a relationship you can establish physical connection pretty quickly. I think a lot of people like hanging out, making love, and enjoy each other's company. That's a given. But I think when you create emotional connection, some sort of bond, over time, that's when things hurt even more, when that bond is broken. And it's interesting because a lot of people, there's a lot of chatter on internet that there are different kind of segments of people that discuss dating, and depending on who you listen to, they have completely different message. Some of them think that feelings, all those things don't exist. It doesn't matter. Some of them think that marriage and relationship is all about, like, people treat it as business. It's like, what can I get out of this? What can other person, the value exchange, that's how some people treat it, and I'm of the opinion, and you can call me naive, but I still believe that connection is possible, that bond is possible, that will make it more meaningful in the long run. Because you see these old couples, these old couples that just enjoy spending time together. They're like genuinely hanging out, having the time of their life, taking trips, holding each other hands, like laughing. When you see people laugh together, that's like one sign that's like, oh, people actually enjoying each other's company. They're not just doing this for show. They actually like being with each other, and that makes me optimistic. I know a lot of those things happen with old school folks, but I believe that that's still possible, creating a connection. All right, the first guest is here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Hi, Ness. How are you today?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
So to get started, just for one thing, you are from a very unique place. Tell me a little bit about where you live and what place is like, because I've never been to that part of the world.
Well, I'm from the island of Guam. It is located in the Pacific region, specifically Micronesia region. Um, we are truly where America's day begins because we are a U.S. territory. along with the Mariana Islands that are our sister islands north of us. So it is currently Tuesday, 11:15 a.m. Guam time. So I am calling you in the early noon time, or streaming in this live in the early noon time.
That's amazing. First of all,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So just real quick, how would you describe that place? What it's like?
I've had people describe Guam to be very similar to Hawaii. Um, and then even Florida,
Hmm.
surprisingly, the weather is very similar. We're very humid. It gets very humid here. So right now we're actually, as I'm talking to you, we are in a tropical storm watch. So
Yeah.
it's rain, heavy rain, wind. We have flash flood notification on the island. So I'm hoping and praying that my internet connection doesn't cut off during this live stream.
I hope so too. Yeah, it seems like I've seen a couple pictures from the island. I was just curious. I always look up when I hear about new locations. I always look them up on the Google Map, and it just looks really really cool, very pretty place, and very remote. It seems as well.
Yes, I think not a lot of people know about Guam. I think only certain people in the states and in the continental U.S. know about us. Either if some people from Guam have relocated or joined the military, or some of the military members have been stationed here. But we are very small.
Hmm.
We are a unique island with, you know, a melting pot of different cultures, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of came across your YouTube channel, was because we recently had um, an influx of Russian refugees here on the island.
Hmm.
So I actually befriended two individuals, and I wanted to get to know them, their where they live, their culture, and them as a person. So it's funny how I came across your YouTube channel. I was actually trying to make a dish, a Russian dish, and I think I came across your content where you were talking about dishes to win a Russian man or something like that.
Yeah.
So I actually made pelmeni. I made it. I made homemade pelmeni, and they were very appreciative of that, you know. So that was how I came across your channel. And it's been beneficial, you know, in terms of me understanding them, and how they lived their life back home in Russia, and why they came to Guam specifically.
That's very good. I love pelmeni. Pelmeni is very good for anyone who have not had pelmeni. You should.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work rolling the dough and making the stuffing. So
So one thing, you don't have to make it from scratch. I just go to the store and buy pre-made pelmeni, and then off I go. You know, I'll just boil them at home, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
But yes, it is a lot of work if you're going to do it completely from scratch.
it is. It is.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about this topic, because I think you've joined the part of the live stream yesterday, right? When we were talking about why do men cheat, right?
Yes, yes. I sat in for a little bit. I was actually doing some work, so I was hearing you and then doing some work off to the side.
Yeah, yeah. So today we're just flipping the script. We're talking about why do women cheat. So I guess I always like to start with that general question. In your opinion, why do women cheat?
I think for me, you know, why do women cheat? Some of the factors of it could be just from frustration in general in the relationship. There's no effective form of communication between you and your partner. And then two, I know you mentioned boredom yesterday, And that could be another reason why too, is that your relationship is so repetitive and redundant that you pretty much know your partner in and out, right? Every day,
Mm-hmm.
'cause you either live with them or you've been with them for a long time. And it's funny, after your live stream, YouTube had given me this TikTok video, and it talked about how to keep your relationship, and the guy talked about, if you really want to stay in your relationship, you got to want it, and you got to have to want it. And he also talked about how you have to treat your relationship like how you were first dating, right? And what he meant by that was to be spontaneous, and don't try to be, stick to your regular routine. uh if you both are wanting to go on a trip, book that trip, take that trip
Right.
together, or just go on random dates, and do things together to kind of spice up the relationship. Especially if both partners are working, there's really no time spent together throughout the day, only at night. So you're just really tired and you just want to just, go home. You have to worry about what you guys going to eat, cook. If you have children, you have to take care of the kids. And then your night is just pretty much just in bed, either on your phone, social media, reading a book or watching TV, and that's it. So that little time frame that you have together, it's you really don't have any form of interaction between the two, because your day is just so burnt and spent. And some people are not very fortunate to have both Saturdays and Sundays off, the weekends off, to spend time together. So whatever little time that you have spent together, he really talked about making those days that you have, that small window of spending time together, an opportunity to be spontaneous. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it be going to the store at 12 midnight, or getting hot dogs at the gas station,
Yeah.
together, just little things like that, and you both have to want to do it, you know, and that's what he talked about. So those are just my points as to why I feel certain women do cheat, is because of frustration. There's no form of effective communication between you and your partner, and also too that the relationship is repetitive, and that there's no spontaneous interaction between the two of you. So you have to, be a little bit more creative in your relationship.
Yeah. Communication is always a big thing in the relationship, and you brought up some other interesting points about boredom and about being spontaneous. I do you think that people know that they need to be doing these things and they just choose not to do them, or do you think that people just think things gonna work out, and even though they're not putting in additional effort, do you think in their mind they truly believe that things gonna be okay as they are anyway?
I think it's a little bit of both. For those that do know that the relationship is, like, kind of going downhill, and they want to try and save it. I think the matter is trying to see how they can be, spontaneous, right? And kind of brainstorming on what they can do together.
Yeah.
um and there's many factors as to um one of the reasons why, that they can't be spontaneous, is it could be just, like, budget reasons, right? They don't have enough spending money. But it all boils down to being creative and trying to brainstorm the type of activities that you can do together, whether it be taking a trip off island, and using money that that for rainy day to go off island, or just doing something that doesn't require money. All you're really trying to do is just trying to create a memory where you both spend time together and enjoy it. So that's pretty much what it is. So yeah, that's the, I want to say, the three factors that I think why women cheat. Um, and this doesn't just apply to women. It also applies to men too. And I'm pretty sure you covered that yesterday. Um, but it all boils down to whether or not if you and your partner really truly want to make things work, and and it takes two. If one is wanting to and the other is not, then you have to make the decision whether or not if you want to continue to stay in this relationship or try and find something new and better.
Yeah, I think like relationship is a full-time job. It's not even a part-time job, it's a full-time job, because you have to be proactive about not only your own desires. I think that's actually where people go wrong. You have to be really mindful about other individual and how to make this union, if you will, work. And
Yeah.
that requires effort. So I never, when I was younger, I never thought about it that way. I never thought about, the things that I would need to do to actually make relationship work. I never had to-do list. I never had like, things, some of the things you mentioned, like planning abilities, to actually apply to my relationship, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah. And I look, one of the things that I look at is my parents, they're high school sweethearts. They've been married for 44 years. And I just think, like, how did they make that work, And I'm pretty sure there had to have been accusations of possibly infidelities that kind of go unnoticed, right? In the family. But I think enable for any relationship like that to work is you just gotta have to want it and make it work. And another thing that I wanted to talk about, like, I was just actually discussing this with my friend, like, why do women cheat, right? And we were talking about, like, how women don't, well, I feel like not all women want to publicly say that they cheated, and that's true. I don't think anybody in general wants to say that they cheated on their partner. Right?
No, people don't want to talk
you
about it.
know
No.
and I think the reason why is, especially like for me as a woman, we just don't want to face the repercussions that come with that if we are accused of being caught, if we have cheated on our partner. Nobody wants to be called a home wrecker, or other words that are generally said to women, and we kind of just keep it hidden. And we
Yeah.
only tell just a few of our friends, but it's not something that you want to we publicize, like, yeah, I
Right.
cheated, just so openly.
Yes. Yes, I agree 100%. It doesn't feel good for men to say that either, because it doesn't help the cause. It only make you sad if you actually, have grown from it, and you actually evolved from that point.
Mm.
Maybe some people proud of being cheaters. I don't know, but when you realize that you've made a mistake and it was not a good thing to do, it does not make you feel good. It makes you feel sad. It makes you feel depressed somewhat, right? So negative feelings. But one thing that I'll say about this, though, that's very important point, in my opinion, that none of us are perfect human beings.
Mm-hmm.
We make mistakes, you know.
Right.
We go through trials and tribulations in our life, and a lot of things are not perfect, you know. I think what I'm focusing on is opportunity to grow and evolve, because people say things like once cheater, always a cheater.
Always a cheater.
And
Correct.
I don't believe that, because that premise means that you cannot evolve. That premise means that you stuck at the point where you've been maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And if you're going to approach things that way, that's to me, it's a wrong narrative. It's a narrative that showcases inability to adapt.
Right.
Whereas I think as human beings, we're very able to adapt, and we're able. The only reason we survive is because we evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Think of some great people in our history. Thomas Edison, I think the guy who invented the light bulb, he tried it for like 1,000 times, and there's a lot of quotes about it. There's a lot of like motivational um, tidbits from his life because of that. But the thing is, if imagine if he had the mindset that, oh, I failed 25 times, I must not have it, I must not be that human being, I'm not good enough, he would never have invented a light bulb. And who knows what would that meant for the world and for technology and for human race at large, right? Because one
Yeah.
invention leads to other invention. So I know I am making this point, like some people might be listening, like, what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with the fact that as a human being, you have to move on from the judgment of others and from your own failures. And that's the main point. Like, I think all of us have to find a way to overcome the failures of yesterday, because those things happened yesterday. And I think that especially if you look at it and you can feel the fact that, okay, I can recognize the fact that this was not the best judgment, there was a wrong decision. If you can recognize, and if you're strong enough to move forward without repeating the same mistake, this is where your growth happens. Because at that
Right.
point, you're really changing. You really not just allowing you're you I don't want to say you're making yourself change, but in a way you're becoming a changed person because of your own will. And I think to me that's super powerful,
Yeah. Yeah. And part of cheating is just acknowledging what you did, right? And making that decision to either not do it again, or learning from your mistakes. So you it's I guess there's certain people that don't like to acknowledge that. But in order for you to grow and move forward as a person, you need to you need to first acknowledge what you did wrong, and then see how you can grow from there and move forward from there, because nothing is ever going to get achieved if you're just in denial.
Yeah, 100%. What else would you, I want to be respectful of your time, what else would you want to tell to women, as far as, is there like advice or any closing thoughts or anything else that you think would help women who may be navigating through similar situations, who may be considering cheating or infidelity, or maybe who already have done it? What would you say to them?
um for me, uh I would just because I'm just gonna say I have cheated before, and I realized my mistake on that. And with my partner at the time, um, what I had done was I pulled him to the side, and I told him, and not many people would have that strength to just openly forward tell their partner about that. But I felt like it was my responsibility to let my partner know. And in the beginning, of course, he was upset, hurt, but I think he respected the fact that I took the mature route of telling him beforehand rather than hearing it, through other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's just my only suggestion is if you've ever experienced that, or or are thinking about that, is you just need to be very forward with your partner and let them know, the issues that you're currently experiencing in the relationship, and see from there how you two can grow as a couple. Because if there's no form of communication, there's no form of trust. And I think for me, he respected that, and it was a matter of building our trust together. And we've been together after that for 3.5 years. After I had done that, and I think he's just kind of just it's just water under the bridge, for him, because I've accepted that, that I acknowledge my mistake on my end. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know that's not easy to talk about. I appreciate that. And I think it's a very brave thing to do, because who would want to talk about these things with your partner? If anything, you're trying to get away from that conversation, because
Right.
that's going to hurt the partner, and that's going to feel bad, when you talk about these things. So I applaud you for being able to do that. Like, it takes a lot of strength, and just a lot of courage to be able to do that. Certainly not easy. Thank you for sharing that. Well, I appreciate you joining. It was super cool. I hope we'll have a chance to to interact again. I know it was the first time. Hopefully, it's not the last one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'm very glad that the Wi-Fi didn't cut.
Me too. Me too. And stay safe during that tropical storm over there, okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Yuri.
Yeah. Do you have shelters over there?
When we do experience typhoons, our form of shelters are the schools.
Yeah.
Whether it be the public schools, elementary, middle school, or high school. So, yesterday the governor did, put out in the news that she was going to be opening the schools for shelter. However, when we got wind or word that the storm was just slowing down, and there wasn't any damaging winds, she canceled that. So these type of storms are very hard to predict, especially they slow down in route to the island, so you just never really know what's going to happen. It could just intensify within the next 5-6 hours. So it's actually passing right now. So we're supposed to be experiencing winds of 35 miles per hour, which are not too destructive, but they can actually, knock some power lines out.
Yeah. Yes. Well, stay safe, okay? Definitely don't do anything to put yourself in danger.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful, for you, it'll be day. So it's morning over there. So have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you. You have a good evening, Yuri.
All right. Take care, Ness.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, that was great. I love these interactions just because it's, talking with real people, talk about real life situations. And always appreciate when people share some of the personal stuff. I know it's not easy. So thank you, Ness, for joining and for doing that. I'm ready for my next live guest. She should be joining hopefully any moment now as well. We're going to continue on. Let's see some comments in the meantime, shall we? Felicia said, trust is broken once you cheat. It's hard to go back from that. It is hard to go back from that, because I think when that happens, there's like a plethora. Oh, funny, fancy word. Look at this Russian guy saying that fancy word, plethora of emotions, right? That can go through your mind. First thing is like, wasn't I good enough, right? How could the other person do that? Just a couple of examples, right? All right, our next live guest is here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on. Hello, Cheyenne, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you move the camera just a little bit like up so I can see your head? Here we go. Thank you. So tell me, this is your first time also, so thank you for joining.
Never been on a show.
Yes, I know. I know. Tell me how you came across the channel, and what were you looking for, and how it all happened.
Well, that was when I was in a relationship with a Russian guy, and I wanted some advice on my long distance relationship.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you've been very active, so I really appreciate that you've been really active with your comments. You've been coming into live streams. It's been really great to see like your engagement. So I really appreciate that. I guess let's just jump into it. I want to know your take. Why do women cheat?
Why do women cheat? They could cheat because they want a more luxurious lifestyle that their guy isn't giving them. Because a lot of women are getting high salaries and there's not a lot of guys that might meet the same salary bracket. So a woman might cheat because she wants a higher social status. She wants to be a power couple. And her parents and her friends might be like, oh, why are you dating him? You could do so much better. How is he going to provide for your children? You know? So then they cheat because they're gold diggers.
Okay, cool.
That could be a reason.
Yeah, you went a very different direction that Nez did. I like it. So with that being said, so it actually makes a lot of sense. I can totally see that. But I'm curious, when they get into relationships, from your standpoint, when women get into these relationships, why do they get in a relationship with the guy that does not meet their financial threshold in the first place? Like, what is the like? What are they thinking? What are women thinking when they do that?
Well, they might, some girls, they just like want a boyfriend to have a boyfriend, but they don't really like the guy. Like they feel like they could do better. And then like their friends will be like, oh, you could do better. He doesn't make enough money. Because a lot of women are making six figures and they just cheat and they take advantage of their boyfriend that works very hard. He could be in the military serving our country, and then the girl cheats on him saying, she's so lonely and making excuses.
Yeah. So how much of it do you think, because you mentioned in the beginning of your answer, you mentioned that like it's women talking to women, and sometimes that could, if I understood you correctly, it could make a difference. It can actually impact, right? Influence rather, how you're like what your friends saying to you can influence your decisions. So do you think that that's like, what do you take on that? Do you think that sometimes women can be other women's worst enemies in that regard?
Yeah. So like, yeah, a friend could do that. Like the guy's good for the girl, but then the friend, if the friend's not good for you, they'll try to, bad talk the guy and say like you could do better than him, but he's a good guy.
You know what's actually kind of funny and tragic about this at the same time? I think in the past, I'm almost certain there were situations in the past when a woman's friend, another girlfriend, said something to her about her boyfriend, and then when woman with a boyfriend, let's just call her a girlfriend. Well, it's too many girlfriends now, and now it's just getting confused. I just call her a wife. How about this?
Okay.
A wife went out and cheated, and then a wife's girlfriend eventually ended up with a boyfriend or with a husband because she actually liked him from the beginning. Does that make sense?
Oh my God.
I guarantee you those situations had to happen because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like when women like a guy, they like the guy, they want that guy. That when men like women, men can look at another pretty girl and say, I like her.
Right.
And especially if they're with their friends, right? With other guys.
Mhm.
Men can say, I like that woman. I need to find me a girl like her. But when women look at the man, like the way I perceive it, the way I see it, from what I heard, women look at the man, they say, I need him. And I will kill another girl to get him.
I think someone mentioned yesterday about girls go like, even though like they know the guy's taken, they're like determined to get him.
Yeah, and like, so I think that those situations can happen. I'm not saying that all women are like that, not at all. That would be evil thing to say. But I think there are women. But I mean, how sneaky would that be? You know, a situation where your girlfriend is telling you those things to influence you to think that your boyfriend or husband is not good enough, just so she can get in and actually take your place in the end.
There's got to be signs.
Huh?
There's got to be signs to tell. Like if they're like trying to hang out alone together, or he gives her the side eye, looks her up and down. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be signs.
So yeah, how would you tell? Because I'm curious. Because I have no answer for that.
How'd you tell if your
How
friend?
would you tell if your girlfriend is telling you these things and she does not mean it? Maybe she's saying it because she wants that man herself.
Oh my God. Well, if she's like bad talking him, I don't know. I'm trying to think because like then like if they're in person together, like you could tell she's like kind of flirting with him, like while you're like away. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. You know, like it's something to think about because for all the ladies out there, look, and that's just from my perspective. I'm just gonna give people my take on it. Look, if you have a girlfriend who's telling you things about your man, you have to be very critical about this message. You have to really evaluate really hard. What does your man do? Does your man deserve this kind of feedback? Is your girlfriend getting or giving you this feedback because your man does not meet her standards? Or does that man really like falling short of your standards? I think you have to be critical about these things. I don't recall, I'll be honest with you, I don't recall guys sitting around and just talking about, like, I think guys making remarks about women. A lot of times it's sexual remarks, like Felicia was talking about yesterday, like, oh, she has a nice booty, you know, I would like that. You know, it's always like some nasty things, right? But it's not so much like, she's not doing dishes, Mark. Susie is not good for you, you know? Yeah, Mark, Susie is not taking kids on time to the daycare. She's a terrible wife. Like those little little things, they don't matter to men as much, it seems to me, you know? But I think like for the way that women operate, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm making a lot of assumptions here just based on observation, but women can sit and talk about the little things. And like, if you have 3 women, it's even more stuff. If you have 4 women, that's like, you're going to have a world of ideas and a world of things to pick on.
So you mean like, why didn't he do the dishes? Why is he leaving his socks in the living room? Why is he smoking in the house? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think those things can build on itself. I think like, you can continue to create these things. And I'm not discarding the fact that some of these things could be valid. I'm not saying that all of these things are not valid. I am saying that if you have your girlfriends who constantly in your ear about your man, I think that it could be exhausting. I think as a woman, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoe of a woman with girlfriends. I would have to really be a strong woman to have my own very strong opinion and beliefs, and to go off of what I want in a man, not what my girlfriend wants, because women are very opinionated in a lot of times, and they're not hiding their opinions. And like, so how that could be tough. It could be tough to keep hearing somebody's opinion all the time, all the time, all the time. But anyway, I spoke enough. Any other thoughts? Like you said your main point was that women want somebody who can support them, and they want like a man who could be their match, so they can be a power couple.
Power couple.
But
a woman might also cheat to fill an emotional void, if she's not feeling loved, if the guy is talking to her in the wrong way. So I had a boyfriend like that I would call, and he would just be like, like, what do you want? Or like I would try to tell him something, he'll just be like, I don't care. Like, just like, I feel like he was not a good boyfriend. But yeah, like girls want like a guy to be like, what are your thoughts, and bring her flowers, and all the sweet stuff. And a lot of guys aren't treating girls right. So
the emotional connection,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
A lot of women want to find their soulmate, like, the ride or die. But yeah. And a lot of guys, like, they might not have like good communication with girl. They might just say like K or sup. It's like, yeah, thanks for making me feel special. So they might have that.
So if there's one thing that you would want to tell all the women about this topic, what would you tell them? I guess you could give a suggestion or share your thoughts on the matter. I'm just curious to hear, what would you, if you could tell anything to women who may be either considering cheating or already cheated or never cheated, I don't know, everybody, what would you tell them?
I'll definitely say it's not about the money. Definitely not about the money. I would say to not, as I said like yesterday about couples therapy, like that's okay. Like go get therapy if you need it. Like get help. Don't cheat on him. Like he could be going through so much. Like he could be having a tough time at his job. His boss is giving him a hard time, and that's why he might be like withdrawing, feeling stressed. He might feeling anxious and depressed. And you might be assuming, oh, he doesn't like my body anymore. He's not into me anymore. I wonder who's the side piece. But then there's actually nobody. So then you're just becoming paranoid. But trust your guy. Trust him. Love him. And ask him what's wrong. Ask him what's going on. Like how his day is going. If there's anything he wants to tell you. And like you guys could talk about it and get through it as a couple.
I like that suggestion a lot. I like the idea of trusting someone and supporting someone, but I love the idea of really trying hard to communicate, really going out of your way to communicate, like in a nurturing way. Because I've been on the other side of it. You know, I've been on the nagging side of it, and I feel like I've been on the good side of it too, when communication is good and both people are mature, you know, and it just makes a world of difference. So I love the suggestions that you gave. I think it's really, really important for people to be able to do that, to put trust in your man, as well as to be able to find a way to communicate with your man, because communication is not straightforward. Like, you know, it's almost an art to communicate. It's like an art, and it's hard enough to communicate just out in the world to where people just understand and can resonate. It's a whole different thing to communicate with your significant other in a way that he can respond positively to you, you know? It's not easy.
And then also, if he closes off, you don't close off, because then communication will stop, and then it'll just get worse, and then grudges will build up, and then then cheating happens.
Yeah.
You gotta have the communication.
And with that, you're gonna have to have no ego. You're gonna have to let go of your pride. You're gonna have to really, go an extra mile for that person, because I think the initial reaction is like, who the heck are you to treat me like that? Like, why you don't want to talk to me? Why are you treating me badly instead of actually trying to communicate with me? So I think
like your partner saying, like the guy saying that, or
I'm saying that's how you probably would feel. A lot of people, how they would feel naturally if somebody would not talk to them, if your significant other would not talk to you. I think that the tendency would be, what is wrong with him?
right?
Like, I am trying to communicate with that person. I'm going out of my way to do this, and he's not even giving me the courtesy of responding and telling me what's going on with him,
And then she gets angry, and then there's like
Yeah.
backlash.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get back from there, because like everybody's upset. Both people are upset because, well, I've tried and he didn't communicate, and he may be thinking, well, I am under stress or whatever going on. Why she's getting on my case? Why she can't just give me my space? Yeah, like things like that happen.
So a guy or a girl can like communicate, like, I need, an hour or so to like recollect my thoughts. Can we come together and have a conversation at this time, or the next day? But like, say something.
Yeah, I agree. But how many people really communicate that way?
Not a lot.
I don't think so. I don't think there are a lot of people who can sit down and have this kind of interaction with their significant other to say, hey, let's just regroup. Let's have this conversation tomorrow. There's an expression in Russian, "Утро вечером мудренее," which means morning is wiser than the night, which means like, go sleep it off and then have a conversation in the morning,
Everything sounds so much beautiful, like more beautiful in Russian.
Because, okay, everybody, you realize that Russian apparently a top 5 most beautiful languages in the world. I know it's a shocking thing for everybody, but I heard it on the radio, because people say, oh, Russian is ugly, Russian is so rough, but people like my language. People love my language, and it depends who is speaking the language. Russian is very rich compared to English, and I don't want to put down English. English is a great language. I just think the way that English is spoken, especially in the United States,
Yeah.
It's like you get leftovers. You get leftovers of English. You go into Great Britain and you hear like people elaborate, like, you know, speak this proper English with accent, with rich vocabularies, and then you come to US and it's like, oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty tired. I'm excited. Anything else to say? All right, don't hate me, community. I'm not hating on English. I like English. I just wish people were. It wasn't easy to learn it because, you know, everybody's just saying same shit all over again. You know, just 5 words. I'm excited. I'm hungry.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Yeah. Let's go shopping. Oh my God. Don't hate me. My community be like, what the heck? What the heck you call? Why you hating on English? I'm not hating on English. Shane, thank you so much for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, and thank you for sharing your points. I resonated with most of them. I think they're important. So thank you for that. Hopefully it brought some value to people, because I certainly think that it's a valuable piece of advice.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Take care. This was cool. I like it. Let's see some comments before our third guest joins. We have awesome community here, awesome interaction. Thank you, Estrella. I appreciate that. You know, I have cats. You see those cats? Kittens. Bunch of kittens. That's what it is. Silky smooth, baby. Let's see. Chrissy said, if she always wants to talk about him and ask about his life. Sometimes women do that. I mean, truth be told, this is not about putting one gender down, okay? That's simply looking at it as objectively as we can. It's trying to figure out the signs, patterns, right? Do we see any patterns? Do we see any signs? Can we draw from it, right? Look, most of you probably will agree. A lot of women like to talk. Men don't talk as much as women do. Generally speaking, again, that's not to say that that's always the thing, but generally speaking, men don't talk as much, right? So I think, again, how can we meet each other halfway? Because as a woman, if you're self-aware and you know you love to talk, but you know your man cannot take so much talking, we got to find, like, in a man as well, like, okay, can you be nice to where you actually will be willing to listen a little bit? But you have to find the balance. You can't be talking all the time, and as a guy, you can't be just shutting it down all the time, right? It's got to be somewhere in the middle. We talk about this work all the time in the relationship. How, if you don't compromise, if both sides don't compromise, then what ends up happening, which you have a lot of these relationships too, it's going to be pulling on one side or another. If you have a dominant woman or a woman who has leverage in the relationship, and she's going to make a guy listen all the time, and she's going to talk all the time, well, maybe you have a pushover of a guy, or maybe you just made that guy just submit to you 100%. Maybe he's no longer, maybe he's just remaining of what you used to have. Maybe, you know what I mean? And then on the other hand, if the leverage is on the man's side, and he's quiet all the time, and he shut his woman all the time down, then it's also kind of becomes like one side of the relationship as well. So it's like, pick your poison. You can be dominant person in the relationship, but forget about 50-50 then. Don't be talking about 50-50, because that's not the case. That's not what's going to happen here, right? Yeah, right. Jamie said, this is why women should be supportive of other women. There is too much backstabbing in work and in our personal lives. Look, and this is a real problem. This is a real problem. Men don't do it that way. Generally speaking, okay, generally speaking, you know why men don't do this way? Because back in the day, if you as a man taking out your guy friend or your friend's woman, guess what it meant? If you go far enough in the past, that meant a duel. You know, when they drew guns and shoot each other. Yeah, 18th century, that's what they did. You're gonna disrespect my woman, you're gonna disrespect my family. Oh yeah, we're gonna duel. I'm gonna shoot your ass. How about that? We're not in the 18th century. In 20th century, a lot of fights would happen. A lot of people got hurt. Some people got killed because of that, believe it or not. It happened. Okay? We're in the 21st century. People learned. We evolved. We don't usually do that. People still do it on the low. You know, they try to steal other people, women, whatever. But my point being, there are consequences for these actions. Men know that there are consequences for talking with another woman if she is taken. You might get, you know, say in Russian, agribешь. Agristi means like somebody's going to punch you in the face. You know? That is one of the reasons why men don't do that. And what is the repercussion for women? You know, there is no, and maybe it sounds ridiculous. You know, some of you may be thinking, what are women supposed to do? Like bring a knife and just stab her girlfriend? No, I don't think that's the right thing to do. But what is the way out of this? There is, you know, is part of a problem maybe because women can get away with it? Is that a reasonable question to ask? Maybe the reason why some of the backstabbing happens because women have been able to get away with it in the past, and quite frankly, some of them continue to get away with it right now. What are your thoughts about that? Because if you can get away with it, if you know that there's not going to be a repercussion, you're not going to be punished for it, you're not going to be criticized for it, why should you stop doing that? Why should you stop this behavior? You can tell when she has long conversations with him, whenever she comes over to visit, having the main girl feel like the third wheel. That third girlfriend gonna break your relationships. Ladies, you know, you might not admit this, but inside, deep inside, you know that girlfriend that you don't want around your man. You know who she is. You know exactly who she is. Don't bring her around your man. Don't even do it. Don't even do it because she might end up jeopardizing your relationship. If you love that man, if you respect that man, don't bring your scandalous girlfriend around that good man. Listen to what I'm telling you. I don't want you to have regrets later. You know the girl I'm talking about. You know that girlfriend. I'm not talking about the one good woman who's you know, I have to like form my thoughts together before I can talk apparently. I am not referring to a woman who is a good woman, who is keeping her business to herself, who is going to tell you things in private in a very considerate, very diplomatic way, if you will. I am talking about a girlfriend who is scandalous in nature, who is going to tell you things, who's going to start some fires, who's not going to be mindful about your relationship. That's the kind of girlfriend I'm talking about. Don't bring her around. Felicia said, that's why I have one female best friend and the rest are random people I say hi to. My circle is small and I like it that way. Good for you. I don't need a lot of friends. I don't need a lot of friends. For what? I know a lot of people. Am I going to bring these people into my life for a piece of advice in my relationship? For what? Relationship is a situation. Oh my God. Relationship is between two people. It's a situation between two people. It's between two people. The moment you start going out of this circle, the circle of trust that involves two people, the problems start to accumulate. I don't want no third person in my relationship. I want, you know what a united front is? United front is people that come together that's going to be fighting for each other. So the question becomes, do you have a united front in your relationship? Or do you have bunch of distractions that just come from all kinds of directions in your relationship? What is it? I looked up some research online to get some insight. One reason women cheat is because they are missing a connection, which been brought up. So then my question about this, this needs to be this needs to be addressed. This needs to be addressed, right? I would think so. My question would be, is that woman or these women who don't feel a connection, they just ended up losing a connection? Like they felt it in the beginning and then they lost it? Because if they felt it in the beginning, the assumption is that they still would have it. If they didn't feel it in the beginning, that connection that they need to feel, why they get in the relationship in the first place? I don't believe in the fact that we can create a connection down the road. There is no creating a connection. You're not buying an item from Amazon hoping that it's going to fulfill your needs. Oh, let me get this computer right now. I know it's shitty right now, but I think in about a couple of months it's probably going to run much faster, right? Wrong. You never do that. You will never go and buy an item that you will hope to deliver in the future. Why do you do it with people? Why do you do it with people? As if magically this man is going to change down the line and he's going to become, he's a frog right now, but he's going to become a prince. Look, I have a frog right now, but I know he's going to be a prince on a white horse in 5 months. Bullshit, he will. He will not. If you get in a frog right now, you're going to have a frog. You're not getting a prince. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So don't hope that that frog going to turn into something. Find yourself a prince, and if you can't find yourself a prince, find yourself something in between frog and a prince. I have no idea what that would be. Maybe you can give me a comment. What would be a person between a frog and a prince? This is fun. Continuing on, for instance, one woman said, I feel like this is so cliche, but it was basically about attention for me. It was about feeling connected to someone who didn't see me as mom or roommate. It was just fun to be getting flirty texts and to have a reason look forward to checking my emails. I shouldn't admit that it was fun, but it was. I need to read this again. I feel like it was so cliche, but it was basically about attention for me. It was about feeling connected to someone who didn't see me as mom or roommate. It was just fun to be getting flirty texts and to have a reason look forward to checking my emails. I shouldn't admit it, but it was fun. Look, I get it. I understand. It's about attention. It's about attention. Once you have that attention, it messes with your mind, ladies. Let's call it as it is. Let's call it as it is. My third guest, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so behind. You can go ahead and join if you're still willing and able. I went on a rant. Hashtag rant. But I'm looking forward to speaking with my third guest. Excited about it. Russian is a gorgeous language. Jamie, I agree 100%. Thank you for that. Lisa said, I think they cheat when they don't get the love and emotional support they need, which, yes, this was discussed today. This was mentioned today. Emotional support. What does it even mean? Let's ask Felicia. Felicia, what is an emotional support? What do these women want? If a man with you, what kind of emotional support do you need? Can you please define it for me? Emotional support.
Okay. Well, like we need, okay, if we got something going on and then like we just need to talk. We know men don't like to talk. Communication ain't the men's strongest suit. Some it's a little bit better than others, but others just don't like talking, period. And then when it comes to like women, like we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But it's good to have somebody that sits there and listen, even if it's like shit that they don't even fucking know about. But the fact that you listening, like it makes me feel good that, you know, I can rant to you. You may not even know, like I could be talking about some chick at work, like, you know, she was being a bitch today. And like, you know, I really hate like Susie. Like Susie was being a bitch. Like she looked at me funny. I ain't like that. So, you know, and like you're sitting right now, you can just do that. The fact that you are listening to me, that's exactly what women want. We want someone who listens. You know, you may not have all the answers. We're not asking you to have all the answers for us. It's just that we just want to know that you are there. That we have your attention. So, and it's just like once we start losing that, and then it's just like you don't like have our attention or really don't keep us in mind, then that's when we become vulnerable. And with vulnerability, and then let's just say Susie meets Johnny at work. Like Johnny's like, hey, I'll buy you breakfast this morning. Okay. It starts with breakfast. And then, you know, Susie starts telling Johnny about her shit because you don't want to listen to it. You're tired of it. So Johnny done, you know, stepped up and became that emotional support that you want, that you can't be. So right now, Johnny a threat. Okay. So the longer this continues, the longer the woman gets ignored by her man. Once she gets vulnerable, all it takes is that one little guy to come. It's just like, you know, the man in the van with the candy. You know, like, hey, you know, I'm sitting out here in this creepy Astro van with a bag full of candy. Like, you want some? I was like, oh, sure, I want the candy. Like, you're offering me candy? Oh my God, like, I want candy. And then at that point, it's women, like you said, women, we desire attention. We want to be wanted by someone. So once the man starts lacking that in a relationship and like he doesn't do it, then that's where the mind wanders. That's when, you know, things can occur. Not necessarily always cheating, because cheating isn't always just the sexual part of it. Like it can just be like, cheating can also be kind of like, well, I wouldn't even say that, because even if you're like just talking to someone, if you're just talking about your problems, like I wouldn't consider that cheating, but it's just that you can confide in someone else other than the person that you were with, you know, because they don't want to listen to you. That's when a situation can become where a woman tends to cheat. Because most of the time if a woman cheats, it's more emotion based. Now, it's some women out here that, you know, are just as ruthless as men and don't give a shit and like will go out here, have a boyfriend because they want a boyfriend, have a husband just to have a husband and then have a work husband or a work boyfriend. So it's just because they like that attention. It's just like they get their attention from the husband when they go home, and it's just like, oh, I'm going to work. Okay, Johnny gonna be there. Like, he gonna bring me lunch and stuff today. It's like I like that because he's giving me attention. I'm getting all this attention. Some women are just natural attention seekers, like, period. Like, they just love the attention, and at that point they feel as if, okay, well, I don't think it's cheating. Like, if this, guys keep buying me lunch and breakfast or whatever at work, I don't think it's cheating. I'm not sleeping with nobody, but you're setting yourself up in a situation where it's kind of like, technically it's not cheating. However, you're kind of like leading the men on. So it's like putting them in a situation where it's just like, okay, well, she must not, her husband must not be doing shit for her. So, I'm gonna keep, laying it on thick for her and like see if she come around. And then once they get that bait, they catch that fish, and then that's it at that point. But I mean, like I said, not a lot of women are like that, but it just depends on the circumstance. But as I said before, emotion, when it comes in a relationship where the man doesn't care, then eventually she will look to see and find somebody else who will care enough. So,
all right, so let's talk about this real quick. I like a lot of points that you made. Give me a favor, move the camera a little bit, because right now your head is cut.
Okay.
Yeah, move it up a little bit. Here we go. So about man listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 points that I want to talk about. So emotion, you talk about emotion and the listening part. When it comes to listening, what's really, I think, important, and women probably know that, but I'm going to say it anyway. What's really important for women to understand is that men communicate differently to begin with. We problem solve. When a lot of times when we communicate, we problem solve. This is the sole goal with a lot of communication with men. It's like, it's more logical. It's to the point. It's like, okay, what do I need to do to get from point A to point B? My observation with women a lot of times, it's like it could be infinite almost. It could be so long, the communication. There could be no necessarily like the end result or the end goal of the communication, right? And to your point that you were talking about earlier, I think for me, like, it's not natural for a lot of men to just sit and listen of a communication for so long without getting from point A to point B. I think we're not trained. The other words, we're not trained. We're not aware of how important it is to women to just being able to sit there and listen without having some sort of outcome. Because I think a lot of men, the way the brain structured, our brain is like, we're looking for the outcome.
Yeah.
Some sort of outcome associated. Now, don't get me wrong. When we're with our friends and we're just shooting shit, we're not doing anything. We're just enjoying, relaxing, whatever, right? But when there is a serious conversation, when there is like, okay, there's something that my significant other wants me to do. Like, that's the thought, right? So what is it that she wants me to do? How can I fix it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thought. And then, but what you're telling me is like, there is no fixing it. There's you just venting.
Yeah.
It's just like you want to get it out. But then in man's mind, but where is the end of it? How can I help? How can I play the part in that? And sometimes I think what drives men crazy is that we never get to that part. It's like, okay, honey, I hear you. How can I help? How can I solve it? You can't. You just got to listen. Okay, but I see that you're upset. So how do you want me to listen without not doing anything? So are you just going to continue to be upset for the infinite amount of time? Like, what does it lead to? Okay, you vented for 20 minutes. We're still at this same point. You're not getting off this point. So what is the next step in this? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of men, that's how it could feel. And it could feel overbearing. It could feel exhausting because
Right.
it felt like we can help the situation and we don't know what we can do, you know?
Right. And that's understandable. Yeah.
And I think, like, as far as the emotional connection, I think it was another point that I've had in my mind, but I think it's along this, it's kind of similar in a way, because I think that men and women portray emotions so differently, you know, is that I think the best thing that we can do is to learn about each other, not trying to fit each other, you know, not to try to fit like, oh, my man, he needs to communicate like I communicate, or my woman, she needs to communicate like I communicate. No, I don't think it's going to work, because it's like, what is this expression? American expression, you're trying to fit the round peg in square hole. or square pig in round hole.
Something like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It's one of those crazy funny expressions, but it just doesn't work. You're just trying to do something that, like, you're not going to change another person to that extent, you know? And why would you want to anyway? What do you want the feminine man? Or do you want a masculine woman?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work.
Well, I mean, that's where, like, everybody is different. So usually it depends on the women. Some women are more vocal when it comes to certain things, and some women hold on to things a little bit more than most. So I guess it would have to, it depends, but most women, when we emotional, like, it's emotional, like, it's a biological thing. We go through it literally every month during a time frame. We can't stop it. It's just like, it's like pain, emotion, like, it's the most draining thing a woman can deal with. But it's just like, it's biological. Like, we can't turn it off technically. But I just think that, yeah, communication is always key. Even if you have to change up, like, how you communicate, like, it doesn't have to be like, okay, one person talks, then another person talks, like, we're playing like a game of chess. We're not doing that. Trying to checkmate each other. No, we don't need to do that. But if there, like, are different ways of communication, then I think a lot of couples could, you know, instead of like one person talking for like a whole damn hour and like you sitting in there listening, and then it's just like, yeah, wow, babe, that just sounds awful. And then she get mad because, like, okay, that's all you got to say? That's it. That's all you got to fucking say. You know, and some women will get pissed the hell off because of that. So it's just, you got to just kind of know your partner and stuff when you come to things like that. But going back to the whole thing about communicating, like, a lot of women, like, they want a man that they want to sit and listen to them. You know, like I said, I only have one female best friend. Sometimes I don't want to hear the shit she be saying, because when she talk, it's just like, she'll say things and but she needs to stop going around in circles, because, and then at that point I kind of cut her off, because, you know, I really don't play that. But it's just like, you gotta give me something. Like, I get, like, he made you mad, like, and she'll tell me stuff about her boyfriend. Me personally, I don't really like him. I think he's an asshole. But that's my opinion. She want to date him, that's fine. That's her prerogative. I'm not that type of friend that's just I'm gonna give her my advice. She take it, okay. She don't, whatever. Or she'll learn eventually down the road. But like, she'll talk about him and things he won't do and stuff like that. I'll just like, well, if y'all been together 5 years, he ain't doing it by now, he's never going to do it. Like, he's never going to do it. But it's hard to tell her that. So I just, you know, I don't tell her anymore. I was like, You're gonna learn the hard way, and that's unfortunate. I'll be here when you fall. I'll pat your head and say everything's going to be fine. You'll get through this, but you're gonna have to learn because I can't. I don't have. Once I exhaust my number of advice to my friends, that is pretty much it. Once I'm done. I don't have nothing else to say because I tell you as much as I can. I'm not an expert, but I will give you a little bit of knowledge because I've been through a lot. So I wouldn't say I have more of a hardened exterior, but I would say I don't take shit from no one, like male, female, nobody. So it kind of made me I'm more of an observer when it comes to people, and I choose selectively of like who I either do, whether it be business or just friends or anything of that nature. I don't, I observe people. I look from afar. I'm that person in the crowd. I'm watching the people. I'm looking at everybody's like behaviors and stuff like that. And that's when I make the decision. Do I want to really be around these people or do I don't like you move on? Because it's just like, I don't like surrounding myself with a lot of people. I don't like when people get into other people's relationships because like I said, it's just two people. It's not 3, 4, or 5. You can give your advice. That's okay. But I think it always needs to come down between the two that's in the relationship. So I don't believe in getting into, and then like the female, like you said, I've seen it. I've had friends back when I was in high school. Hence the reason why I only have one female friend now, because of situations back in high school where you have that friend just like, where she slept with everybody's man. Like everybody knew that. And she was just that type of person. Like I had a boyfriend. She was my roommate in college, actually. And I had a boyfriend. I really liked him. And then where was I? I can't remember. It was so long ago. And no, I had went back to my parents' house for the weekend because I think a cousin had a birthday party or whatever. And I came back. My friend and my boyfriend at the time were like leaving her room. So I was just all like, like, wow. Like I was fucking pissed. I had like went to like my RA. I was like, yo, you have to get me out of that room. You put me anywhere else. I don't give a shit because I cannot stay in that room with her because I would kick her ass every day. Like she would get an ass whooping every night before she go to sleep. I can't stay with her. I gotta get out of that room. They got me out of that room. So, and I never talked to her ever since that, like, stopped all communication. But yeah, it's women that do that. That just, they be saying like, oh, your boyfriend's cute. Anytime you make a comment like that, I be, I have to side eye you for a second. I was like, all right, he cute. That's all the compliments we're gonna have of him. That's all you're gonna say. You ain't gonna say nothing else. I mean, you can talk to him like, okay, that's fine. You can have a friendship. That's fine. But if I feel like you're getting a little bit too close, okay, I have to, strong arm you a little bit. I'm like, all right, you've done enough. So, you need to back off a little bit. But
listen, the ultimate question I still haven't asked you. The ultimate question, why do women cheat? And I don't want you to look at any comments. I need your perspective on it. Why in the world y'all cheating?
Well, we cheat. I mean, women cheat the same reason men cheat. Essentially, same reason. Some women because they can and they want to. That's one reason. Another reason, the emotional thing. Like if her man's not giving her attention, she gonna find it somewhere else from somebody else. I really wouldn't even say boredom because like boredom it's not even just that. It's just a lot of it's people that get in relationships that don't even need to be in relationships, but they want to be in relationships just to say they have a relationship. It's just like when I say people want to have the big wedding, but don't want to have the marriage. Like they don't want to trudge through the mud and like go through all the bullshit of marriage has to go through. But you want the big fancy wedding and stuff like that. I want to tell, send all the little thank you cards and give out like all this shit to people. Like, thanks for coming. Thanks for the toaster oven. Thanks for all that. No, go on a honeymoon. And then after that, like y'all fighting. like every single day. I was like, but y'all wanted to do all this shit to show all these people, but y'all don't want to deal with the real shit, the real ugliness of what marriage is. It can be beautiful. Yes, it can. But it also can be like ugly. You ain't gonna like each other every day. You ain't gonna want to be around each other every day. Like, I know, like, my parents have been married for 35 years. Okay. They love each other. I know this. But I know my mom can't stand my dad sometimes. I know this. I can't stand him sometimes too. Like, cause he be annoying sometimes. And I get it. But it happens. That's life. You're not going to be lovey-dovey all the time, every day, all day. That's not gonna happen. Because they're gonna do some shit that you're not gonna like, and you're gonna be sitting there like, man, this dude is really stupid. Or you're gonna look at her like, she real stupid right now. I love her, but she being dumb. Oh my goodness. But that's the thing. Like, you gotta get past all that little bullshit. You can have a successful relationship, but people see that little shit, be like, "Oh, I don't like that." Let me go talk to Johnny and see what he doing. I say, man, you up here taking your ass up here to go see Johnny.
Johnny.
Old Johnny. When you need to be up here talking to your man and try to like fix whatever the hell you got going. Oh, you need to tell him that, you know, he ain't doing whatever and stuff need to change or whatever you got to do. And that's another thing too. Like, if a woman want to seek attention from another man, she ain't doing the thing about communicating either. Like, you got to give people ultimatums out here. You can't just have people wasting your time. Like, if you want to be with somebody else, but don't be having them hanging in the balance while you out here doing your thing. Because there's a difference between a woman who cheats phone and a man who cheats phone. If a man goes through a woman's phone and, you know, she's a cheater, he gonna be real fucking hurt, like real bad. Cause men don't like that. Like, they can do the shit, but when that shit get did to them, like, oh hell no, I can't believe she did this to me. But she was sleeping around first, so when she does it, you know, she's everything under the sun that's just horrible. You know, you look through her phone. And like, she didn't like CSI, forensic, wipe, clean, reset everything in her phone. She ain't got no call out. Like, I was like, I know you posted pictures on Instagram like yesterday. You ain't got it in the camera roll. Where those at? Like, you cleaned your whole phone. That's how you know people be living foul and cheating. It's just like you have no records in your phone at all. Like, it's completely clean now. Women are sneakier. Getting away with it is a lot easier. Yeah. Because men are generally sloppy.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it's done. Stay on that point. Because I think that's what, like, a lot of guys don't understand. A lot of guys don't understand that, right? And it's not to bash women, but there is a difference how women go about things and how men go about things. Man, and you know, the real ones know. The real ones know. You know what men do? Man will screw a neighbor, and she's gonna be like waving at him when she's getting newspapers, and the wife will be like, "Get your ass!" And then the woman will go 5 states away, bang somebody that her husband will never meet. Never meet. So
never.
This playing field ain't fair. This playing field ain't fair. I ain't trying to say women are sneaky. I'm not trying to generalize, but there's definitely a difference between how women approaching things and how men approaching things.
How women cheat and how men cheat are two different things. Women who cheat are generally more stealthier than men. So it's just like, you know, they can hide their tracks better. You know, I'm not saying this from experience, but I have seen it. Like, okay, for example, I don't know if I think I've told the story about when I went to Germany and one of my coworkers, he had brought like some hookers on his credit card. Now, you married, y'all share financial statements. And she seen that shit. She flew to Germany with divorce papers literally within the week. And like, I think we were like at a little banquet and like had dinner, and like she brought that shit and like she sat on the table and she was like, I'm taking every every effing thing you have. And we were just sitting up here like, oh my God. Like, I wanted to laugh because it was funny, but I know he was like, literally his whole life flashed before his eyes. Men, especially when they're caught cheating and in a marriage, they have a lot more to lose, especially if you're in a marriage and you've been married for a very long time. Men have a lot more to lose if they're caught. But sometimes they do stuff to give it away. And I'm not saying try to go out here. Not go out here. I'm not giving. Don't do that. Don't do it at all. But it's just. But I'm not saying like go be sneaky and shit like that. I'm just saying like some people just men are very sloppy. You know, I see it at work. Cause like if one of my guys has a wife, this is just an example. This isn't actual, but one of my workers, his wife works in another plant. The girl that he's having sex with works in a plant I'm working with, and they have lunch together every day. And he'll go on his breaks to go call his wife while the girlfriend is still there, which is a completely big mess. And then it's just like, eventually people talk. And then just like, oh, I see, Malcolm over there talking to old little Lily over there. Like they always, and then of course, like it gets stirred up. But I work in an environment where it's like, I work in an environment that is set up like a fucking high school. You got your jocks, you got the geeks, you got, you got all your little groups. So what you think they doing most of the time? We there all day, every day. We ain't got shit else to do but work. We at work literally 10, 12 hours a day. So what else we gonna do to be entertained? Talk all fucking day. So if you are seen talking to somebody, I could be standing, just talking random, work stuff to some guy. Then you got one little nosy person standing around. I'm like, I think Felicia and old dude, they having sex. I was like, we up here talking about car parts. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then it goes around the plant. Now everybody knows. And then here comes somebody saying, oh, I heard you fucking Johnny. I'm like, no, like who told you that? Like, and that's just how it is. That is how it is where I work. So like I experience a lot of life in that place because it's a mess. It's a mess. But like I said, I just like don't cheat. I'm not proponent for cheating. Like if your relationship ain't going good, just leave. If you want to be with Johnny, but tell your boyfriend first, like, hey, I don't love you no more. I'm about to be with Johnny. Okay. Go be with Johnny. And if you don't love your girl, I don't love you no more. I'm about to go be with little Lily over here. Go be with her. Okay. Stop dragging shit along. Just don't do that. I hate that.
Oh my God.
God.
I'm laughing at some of these comments too that people writing.
I don't even want to, I've been kind of like glancing at them because I'll bust out laughing if I look at it.
That's hilarious. That's so great. My friend, what are your closing thoughts? I mean, we can talk about it all night. I don't want to go until 12. I got to eat something,
Yeah, I'm not going to work in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the verdict? Like because I like what we talked about earlier, right? We talk about real stuff pertaining to how people interact, like everyday type of stuff that happens, right? When you're sitting at the table and you're going back and forth, right? And you're trying to figure out what the heck we're doing, why we're not connecting, and then potentially from that, problems can stem down the line, right?
Right.
What is the verdict? I mean, what in the world? I guess let's take me from a woman's perspective, because that's what I'm interested in tonight. From a woman's perspective, I mean, what women can do to I guess alleviate the possibilities of them cheating. Like if you as a woman had to take responsibility, right? Leaving the man alone, what women can do, or what would you tell other women that you would prefer to happen? What do you think would be the right thing to do I'm looking for some closure here, you know, something that we can say like, you know, as women, since we're talking about why do women cheat, what it is that, you know, women do from their end to alleviate those type of situations.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. If you feel like you're in a situation where it's just hopeless and like your person, the man that you're with is not treating you well, like not necessarily bad, but just like not communicating and stuff like that, you need to tell them that. And depending on what the response you get, it's either you settle for whatever shit he giving you or you don't settle for that. Because that's another problem with women. Like they'll sit and settle for that shit for a long fucking time and just like think that, you know, oh, he's gonna come around. He's like most of the time he's not. Like don't sit around and waste your time, waste your life on somebody. And then you do it wrong by going around here getting your attention from somebody else, and then it leads to something more. And then it makes the situation just hella bad. So that's what I like want to tell people. You need to talk it out. You know, whether he communicates or not, you need to like sit and like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. We need to have like a serious talk, or you need to lay down an ultimatum on the flow right there. It's just like either you kind of try to help me work on this relationship that we have, or I can fucking go, because I will not waste my time with somebody that barely like talks to me or anything like that. Like just don't settle for the bullshit. I think that's one of women's main problems. We settle for a lot of bullshit in hopes that one magical day that his ass is gonna go from a frog to a fucking prince. No, it ain't.
I told you it's not gonna happen, women. Ding, 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 ding. I told everybody tonight.
It ain't. If you want the frog, keep the frog. Okay, you know, give him a little top hat and some like tapping shoes or something. Dress the frog up to make him look okay, I guess. But he ain't gonna turn into no
fancy frog.
A fancy frog. If anybody knows, like back in the day, the WB frog that used to be on like TV. If you remember, like used to sing and shit. Yeah, like turn him into the WB frog. But he ain't turned into no prince. Like they're fairy tales for a reason. Like this is hard. This is real life. This is real life we got right now. We only got one fucking life to live. Like you can't waste that time on like a person who's not gonna give you what you want and what you deserve. You deserve a lot more. Like if you giving out a lot and he's only giving out a little, that should be a complete sign. Like don't make the situation worse by going, it's okay to talk and vent your feelings out to like a person you can trust. Even if it is a male, that's fine. But you have to know boundaries. You're still in a relationship, regardless of how bad it is. Like you have to come to a conclusion whether you're going to stay and try to work, or you can just leave. Like you deserve better. Don't stoop to anybody else's level by like, hey, he's not doing this for me, so I'm gonna talk to Johnny. Leave Johnny ass out of this. Johnny can stay over there. If you want Johnny, tell his ass like, look, if you don't do A, B, C, D to keep me here, and I've been doing all this shit for you, Johnny over here looks much more nicer than you. So it's just like, just don't. I guess that's the biggest thing. Don't settle. Like just don't settle. Don't take no bullshit. Like from anybody, man or woman, like just don't take no bullshit. I'm not coming off as well, it doesn't sound like I'm masculine or anything, but it's just I just don't like. I don't have time for. I've dealt with a lot of that, so that's kind of like why I am the way I am. It's just I've wasted my time on a lot of people when I could have been doing other shit but I spent so much time in people that really didn't want to really give themselves to me or like give me the attention and support that I needed, but I gave them all that. And then therefore, like, I settled for what that, because I'm hoping that they turn us over and look at them now. They're still fucking frogs. So, you know, and frogs get ran over by cars every day. So just let them like hang out in the street. Okay.
It went from it went from something to ruthless.
I mean, I'm not saying being ruthless, but like, just women need to start taking their life, I guess, back. Like, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. I guess that makes sense. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket and just like, okay, I think I met the man of my dreams, and then it turns out that he ain't. He's a fucking nightmare. Just like, better take your damn eggs back. Take them all out the basket. Like, get your basket back. Like, just don't settle, ladies. And don't cheat. Sometimes we got to take time, step back, fall back, and like just observe people. That's what I do. I observe. And if I don't want to deal with, a person over here, I'll do that. If I want to deal with a person, I'll do that. But sometimes you got to kind of see the situation for what it is. And if it's not going to get any better, leave it alone. It's over at that point.
All right. Look, as you were talking, I like two distinct topics for the next live stream. One topic is lies in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the second topic is settling in the relationship.
Yeah.
So, audience, please, let's vote it out. Give me #lies if you would like to talk about lies and lying in the relationships. And give me #settle if you would like to talk about settling in the relationship, because I have a lot of things to say about both. A lot of things to say. I'm not even going to start on it tonight, but I think either one would be really good topics. My friend Felicia, thank you so much for taking the time. As always, it's always a pleasure. It's always fun. It's always insightful. It's always a lot of information, and I know you always give it raw, very raw.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And of course, your T-shirt is lit. Izuku something.
Midoriya from, if anybody's like into anime like I am, Izuku Midoriya. Also Deku from My Hero Academia.
Midoriya, yeah. Seems like a nice guy. That's
is.
Pretty sweet. Thank you for taking the time. Enjoy your night. I'm going to do some closing thoughts. It's not a lot. I know it's not the last time. I know I'll be seeing you soon again.
Yes.
Have a great day, okay? Thank you for hopping on.
Bye.
Bye-bye. My friends, that was awesome as always. Listen, I want to put some closing thoughts on it. There was a lot of awesome information communicated by all of our live guests. Huge shout out to Nessa. Huge shout out to Cheyenne. Huge shout out to Felicia for coming on and sharing their thoughts, sharing their true opinions, stories, being vulnerable, being honest, being real. I appreciate every single one of you. Listen, how can I summer? I guess it's summer. But how can I summarize this topic? Why do women cheat? I think a lot of things that's been said has to do with connection. It has to do with attention. It has to do with boredom. It has to do with communication. These things that happen on a daily basis. I think was interesting to me to hear from multiple people, either via comments or through live guest remarks, that at times women try to make average men into men of their dreams. I guess that would be a reasonable way to put it. And I've mentioned that before in the previous live streams, that I don't believe in making anybody into anything. Not anymore. When I was younger, I did. And again, you don't have to agree with me at all. You don't have to agree with me. is just simply how I feel right now. What I think is that if you're going to get a male who is lazy, who is irresponsible, who is not paying attention to you, this is the man that you have right now. And I don't see a reason why you should expect that man to change. You know why? Because the only person in the world who can make that man change is himself. Man has to go through a natural process of maturation, through a set of experiences, maybe some sort of one very significant circumstance or event, maybe series of events. There has to be life experiences that would make this man look at life differently. And I just don't think that a woman, a significant other, who is going to try to impose her will on this man is going to be that circumstance. I just don't see it. Now, I can understand how a great woman can help her man to become a better man, but that's a completely different approach. This is not to approach to guilt trip a man. This is not approach to where you're going to nag on the man. This is not approach where you're going to cheat because you don't get enough attention. These are not those things. This is not how you're going to elevate your man. This is not going to happen. Okay? This is going to be done through kindness, through openness, through nurturing communication. It's going to be done through knowing your man. And again, if you have a reasonable man, if you have a man who is willing to listen to you, and when you have this if you have these, I already use word kind. I don't know what other word to use for that. If you have this kind of, if you have communication and interaction that makes your man feel like you really care about him, you really care about him, not about yourself, then that's different, right? Why am I talking about this? It's because I think it's a big part of what plays into this whole cheating thing. I think the reason I'm describing this right now, because in my mind, if we're trying to make a frog into a prince and women don't succeed at that, then yes, of course, one of the natural reactions will be to go out and to find a prince. And I just don't believe that you should be getting a frog to begin with, if you want a prince to begin with. There's a lot of ifs in this situations. Looks like the majority of you want settling as a topic for the next live stream, for the next show. Therefore, we're going to do this tomorrow. Let me just announce this. Tomorrow, 9 p.m., I'm going to talk about settling. I'm going to enjoy this one. Oh, I will. Oh, I will. What I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm not going to plan any guests in advance, but I'm going to give people opportunity to jump on potentially, and make it kind of fun. Maybe we'll do it slightly differently. Maybe we will have people sharing specific, like a specific topic within this topic, or specific points within that particular topic. And those individuals will come in and join and just talk about that topic, and that's it. I think that could be kind of fun, Heather said, after tonight's talk, do you think you have more insight into why your ex cheated on you? Well, I have more than one ex cheated on me, Heather. If we're talking about the ex that I was mentioning in the beginning of the live stream, perhaps she felt that she didn't get enough attention. I could see it being the case. Am I going to give her a pass on this? At the time, I was mad. I was very mad. I wasn't trying to forgive her at the time, you know. Right now, I'm not mad, but I still think there are better ways. I think conversation or telling me, hey, I don't think that I should be with you would have been better way to go. But I am grateful for the time I've had with her. Let me put it that way. I'm still grateful. There is more to it than that. Some women fall in love with potential in future faking. It's not always about changing frog to a prince, or I don't know what HRH, high horse something. Some women fall in love with potential. That's an interesting thought. And future faking. Now, I think that I can see one but not the other. I can see how future faking is very prevalent. I can see how men will do that all the time. And I can see how that could be deceiving. So I cannot blame women for not seeing when men fake. Because quite frankly, I don't think it's easy to recognize, you know? But fall in love with potential? I don't know about that one. That just doesn't seem like ideal situation for me. Now, it doesn't mean that the person need to have it made. You know, we're not talking about that you need to have everything lined up. You know, you might not be financially there, but you know, you going to school and you're doing your best, and clearly you're showing signs that you are moving in the right direction. It's no longer just potential. Potential, it's to me, it's somebody who has not much, who has nearly zero, right? But somebody who's going to school, or maybe who is just starting an endeavor, but who is clearly very driven. You know, there's different levels to that. But I think there has to be some sort of baseline that you start with, you know? I like that. I like those thoughts. Let's see if there's any other questions. Looks like another one from Strong Ballerina. The man makes the woman believe that there is potential. He tells her what she wants to hear. Telling is only one part of it, Strong Ballerina. You have to see what's actually happening. If I'm a woman, I'm going to put it this way. If I'm a woman, I'm going to see what man is and what man has and what man does, not just what he says. Okay? I'm going to look at how this man goes about his business, not only what plans this man has. I think that's important. Let's see, couple more comments. Potential is a big one, and some of these guys blind women into building with him, wasting her time to help him succeed so he can trade her in for an upgrade. but she's looking at his potential. Well, looks like that resonated with a lot of you. Let me give you a man's perspective on this, and you can take this and do it what you would like with it. When I go out with someone on a date, I'm asking you questions, and I ask a lot of questions because it's important for me to know who you are, not what you want to be. It's important for me to know who you are right now. It's important for me to know what you're doing right now. It's important for me to know what you're saying right now and how you're thinking right now, right at this moment, okay? It's important for me to know how you communicate with other people, how you communicate with your family, how you interacting with me. All these things are important to me. What I'm getting at, why am I telling you all this, is because these things, more or less, comprise? They make up a person. They make up a real person that you see in front of you this moment. Okay? I'm not concerned into so much what the potential is. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. Of course, I'm concerned about, like the prospect of this person could be, and see if we match, and see if we can kind of like move towards the same goal or be on the same level, right? But I'm not looking at it and thinking, well, I think in 5 years, I will really like her. I think in 5 years, she can be a really solid wife. I'm thinking and asking myself a question. Can she be my significant other today? Am I happy communicating with her today? Does she make me feel? Can she bring to my life what I'm lacking in my life today? Now, if this person is financially not there, that's not the end of the world. But what you're doing today matters. In other words, if I want a woman, let's use example. If you're talking to a man, if you want a man, a successful man, financially speaking, and your man is the only thing that he does is playing video games all day, I think it's a bit of a risk to take, don't you think? On the other hand, if you want a man who's going to be financially successful, which a lot of women do, and you have a man who is currently pursuing his MBA, Master of Business Administration, as an example, it doesn't have to be this degree, it's just an example, right? And he's doing an internship and he's doing web design. Oh, ding, 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 ding. The writing is on the wall. This man is going somewhere. This man is moving. This man is grooving. He's going to be making some waves. It's no longer just potential. He is on his journey. He is in action as we speak. He's studying. He's learning web design. He's doing an internship. He's busting his butt to make something out of him. These are two very distinct examples. that I just gave you. Video game guy who is sitting on his ass playing video games all day, probably smoking a little weed. You know how they get down, those boys. Versus a man who is grinding it out in college, doing an internship and doing web design. This is just career stuff, right? This is just the career example. We're not talking about anything else. We're not talking about communication. We're not talking about, connection, nothing else. This is just career. But isn't that clear enough for you to see the difference? I think this is honestly the difference between men and women as well. I think some women, unfortunately, will look at the guy who plays video games, and if he can make her feel emotionally special, right? If she can have the emotional connection with him, then she's going to give him a pass. A pass. You're going to allow this man to convince you that he has potential. Based on what? Based on what you're making this determination. What did he show you for you to actually think that his potential is going to come to light? Am I telling you to be a little bit more logical, maybe a little bit more, get down to the very core of it? Really just look at actions versus anything else? Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Because I cannot make decisions based on potential and emotions. I can't afford that. This is a too expensive of a price. It's too costly of a price to pay. In the end, I need to see something today. I need to see something right now. I think a lot of men and women lie on the resume and pretend to be people that they aren't. This creates a lot of problems too. It does. A lot of problems. It creates a lot of problems. But I know we talked about it in the past, but I just think that sometimes people should not be given a pass. In the instance that someone pretends, and you know the difference when someone actually trying, when somebody actually makes a mistake and somebody gathers themselves and they're still looking out for the betterment of the couple, of the relationship, or the betterment of another person. You know the difference between that individual and someone who's just blatantly comes out and just starts giving a shit. Just that, like, I got her, I'm with her, I can just sit down. Video game guy example, right? This is actually a good way to finish this, right? Video guy example could have been this college guy, right? I'm not going to this is not what is the word? Oh my god. Anyway, I forgot the word. But point being, it's possible for a guy who appeared to be a good guy, ambitious guy who was going places, to end up in this situation, sitting on the couch playing video games. And maybe beyond that, he was the guy who was pretending to be this emotionally stable, this ambitious guy, career-oriented guy who ended up just sitting his ass on the couch all day, right? So what is the solution here? leave his ass. Leave him. You know, if that is a big deal to you, leave him. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. My friends, this was so much fun. This was too much fun. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about settling in the relationships. And we're going to do this at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Please, give me a favor. I'm trying to get the show on the road. It's time to do this. It's time to do this. I love this community. I love these interactions. Sometimes I feel like it's not even me talking. Sometimes I feel like my conscious just elevates, levitates. I think that's the word. Levitates. It's somewhere near the ceiling, just watching me from the side. And it's just like absorbing me, communicating. I don't know. It's kind of surreal feeling. It's amazing. It's amazing to connect with all of you and to have these conversations. Perhaps we can do a Q&A live stream. And what have we been doing, Heather? What is this? Is this not Q&A? All we do is Q&A, is it not? I am open for anything, any format. Q&A live stream in what sense? People sending their questions for other people to answer, or people coming in live asking me Q&A questions? Let's connect in the DMs on either Instagram, on Twitter, or Twitter, either or, and we can work on this idea. I am open to different ideas, so we can talk about it. My friends, this was cool. This was fun. It was a long one again, but it was a good one. It's hard to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Bad boy for life. I'm gonna see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Give me a favor. Mark your calendars. Share this with someone. Who do you know? What friend of yours need to hear tomorrow about settling in the relationship? Because you know there's going to be, I hope I'm going to bring some people live again. You know, I'm going to be telling you how I feel about it. And we're going to make it interesting again. We're going to have a great time. So share it with someone. Think of someone who needs to know this. Think of someone, maybe, do you have somebody in your family that needs to have this knowledge? Remember, they don't teach these things in college. We're talking about stuff that people need to know. We don't have to agree on all of this, but this is why we have this two-way street communication. We're sharing ideas. And I continue to encourage this. I continue to encourage you to at least consider being on the live stream. Too many consider words. But get on the live stream, share your opinions, share your experiences, contribute to the conversation. This is the way to get it done. This is the way to be heard, and this is the way to spread knowledge, to deliver value to others. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Let's invite family and friends. Let's have this conversation together so more people can learn, more people can benefit, more people can maybe find out something about themselves, at least have some thoughts, or they can share this information with someone else. Thank you all very much for taking the time to be here tonight. I really appreciate you. It's always a pleasure and a privilege. Good night, everyone. I'll be seeing you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Peace.